Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the ThreeZero DLX Marvel Studios The Infinity Saga Iron Man Mark II and Iron Man Mark III. Seeing as how these are essentially the same armor, obviously the Mark III is a little bit upgraded compared to the 2, but they had a very similar look. We see a lot of rivets and things like that in the Mark II that we don't see in the Mark III, and then obviously we got the paint job there. So that's going to be primarily the difference between the two figures. I think once we open them up, we'll kind of see if there's any other differences. The chest pieces do look different because, again, the rivet design, but essentially should be the same. So that's why I'm kind of pairing these ones up together. I'm on a little bit of a mission to complete the Infinity Saga line by ThreeZero and the DLX line, and I'm making my way in getting there. I also have the War Machine Mark II from Avengers Age of Ultron to take a look at. I've got the Iron Man Mark 42 from Iron Man 3 to take a look at. So we are getting there. I recently looked at the Iron Spider from Avengers Infinity War and love that figure. And I got a couple of other Iron Mans. I got an Iron Patriot. I got the Black Panther. So all kinds of crazy good stuff going on. So big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for having these in stock. So links in the video description below if you're looking to pick up these awesome figures. And I highly recommend them. If you guys are ever, you know, like hot toy quality type stuff, these are hot toys basically in miniature scale, because Hot Toys are 12-inch figures, you know, 1/6 scale. These are 1/12, kind of 1/10 because they're more of a 7-inch figure, but these things are absolutely fantastic. So let's get into it. There on the front we get a look at the figure there. Each on the side we get that official ThreeZero seal there. You can see Mark II, Mark III, a bunch of legal stuff on the back and nothing really going on either side. But Iron Man Mark II, we get a look at the figure there. It's just all kind of silvered out, and I really like the way that looks. The Mark III, we get the red and gold in there, and again, that looks really good as well. So from the first Iron Man movie, we have our Mark II and Mark III, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. We're inching and clawing our way there. Less than 3,000 to go. With your help, I know we can do it, so hit that subscribe button now. Okay, so here we go. We have the Mark II and the Mark III figures out of the package, and these things are awesome. I knew they would be, so it's no surprise there. They are essentially the same figure, as a lot of the parts and pieces have been reused. However, there are some differences, and I don't know if this is something that they could do kind of during the manufacturing of some of these pieces, but I had mentioned, you know, the Mark II has all like these rivet spots and everything throughout, so it's on here on the legs, it's here all on the chest, it's on the arms and everything like that. That is the only difference between these two figures. Otherwise, everything is the exact same. So I can't imagine that they're completely different sculpts. They could just be, you know, or molds, excuse me, that the molds were just modified a bit, or that's something that they can do after or something, because it'd be crazy if they had to create all new molds just to add in those rivets. And I don't know which one actually released first, so there's that. But two awesome figures that just, you know, look very good. So if you're a fan of the MCU, fan of Iron Man, I think these are, you know, some must pickups, because you got your Mark II, you got your Mark III with some hot rod red in it. Just some awesome stuff. So let's go ahead and get in for a closer look at the two figures. I do have the lights on, so I'll dim these lights so you can see just how cool, you know, the light up features are with these DLX figures by ThreeZero. Okay, so just to kind of give you a heads up here, sometimes some of these lights may not be real bright, like the Iron Patriot light and the arc reactor was not very bright at all. These ones are definitely brighter. The ones in the masks in the heads, they're not super bright, but they definitely, you know, shine through, as you can see there. And then looking here between these two, they should be about the same, because they are essentially the same figure. So it is cool with the light up feature. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn these off and conserve some battery. So the awesome part in the chest reactor, to turn those on and off, you actually just press on the arc reactor and you can turn those lights on and off. Now in the heads, that's going to be a little bit different in just kind of the way it is. You can just open up that head and then you have a button inside of there that can do it. The problem with this is the button, the way the mask is, it's a little bit hard to reach, so I just got to use something to hit that button, and then there we go, and turn it off, replace this piece up here at the head, and bam, we got our Iron Mans there, no longer lit up. So very easy to turn them off and on, as you can see there. So let's go ahead and get in for the closer look at these two guys. Okay, so starting off, we're going to take a look at the Mark II a little bit here first, and then we'll take a look at the Mark III, because again, they are essentially the same exact figures, so you just get all these rivet holes in there, and then, you know, this is an earlier prototype, I guess it would be, and I'm assuming that's, you know, still work in progress, and that's why we kind of see all those rivets. So we see it all in the torso, we see it along the legs, and then we see it in the arms and such, whereas, you know, here, you know, we don't have them in the arms, we don't have them in the legs, we don't have it in the chest. So we have that there. Ooh, dropped him. That's not good. And then one cool thing that, you know, in terms of accessories that these figures come with, we get a bunch of different hands. And the cool thing about it is it's going to be kind of a couple of different options. You know, so we get some hands, you know, where you can have the flame blast effect, you know, coming out of the hand. And then a couple of different ones. I know these ones look like the same hand, but they are actually different. One of them is a little bit more open, and I would say this is going to be like more blast, whereas this one, the fingers aren't spread apart, and I think this is going to be kind of flight mode, you know, in the balancing kind of thing. And then we also get like those extra hands that show, like, that don't have the peg hole there in the hand, so you get those arc reactors in the hand, the repulsor blasters. We have the ones where those aren't, there's no peg hole, so you can just have a standard look, and then you have the peg hole version, so you can actually put in, you can peg in those blast effect pieces that he comes with, and he comes with 4 different blast effect pieces. We get 2 shorter ones here, and then 2 longer ones. So you have 2 shorts and 2 longs, and you can, you know, do the long ones in the hands for the repulsor blasts, and then you can do the short ones like in the feet for flight. So you got peg holes on the bottom of those feet, and you can just peg those in for flight mode. So we have those there, so that is pretty cool. And then we also have fists that are already on the figure, and then the cool thing about it is we get these forearm rockets, which are pretty cool. So we actually get 2, 1 for each side. So we got that one there. We actually got that little rocket piece as actually painted on there, so it's just the silver piece. It just pegs in there. You want to be careful because, man, this is a really small piece, and it's really well detailed, but it's just so tiny. So you really want to be careful with it, because you don't want to break any of these pieces. You know, these are $100 figures, and you want them to be well protected and taken care of, so you got to be careful. And then that forearm cover piece, we just get that, snap it back in place, and we have our standard arm. But we get 2 of those. We actually get 1 for the right and for the left, so not too shabby. So we got 2 of them there. And then yes, of course, the Mark III does have the same thing, but we get additional paint on there. As you can see, some red, some silver, and then the rocket kind of gets that gunmetal color in there. So I went with the opposite arm here, but it's the same thing. You can just pull it right off, and then you can get that cover piece and port that cover piece right on there. Just snaps back into place like so. The Mark III, same figure, but we just get smooth panels all throughout. So on the arms, the chest, and then the legs, it is all smooth. But the red and gold just looks so good. A little bit of silver in there, and then a little bit of silver, you know, where the arm is and everything like that. But the red and gold just came out looking really, really, really nice there. Paint apps are very clean and look very, very good there. All the same accessories on this guy. We get the 2 rocket pieces, we get the 4 blast effect pieces, and then we get all those different hands. So the hands with the peg holes in them, and then the hands without the peg holes. So we get the different options there, and I like that they actually painted that in with a nice silver there. So it gives us options in terms of display and everything like that. But Iron Man's looking really good. So now let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's take a look at some of the moving pieces that these figures have, because it's not just about the articulation. There's a couple of extra parts and pieces and stuff. So you kind of get this shoulder here. That shoulder can move out, so you can move that arm around, and then you can kind of tuck that shoulder back in, which is pretty cool. This chest piece kind of moves out, as you could see there. And I don't know the full benefit there yet. Maybe to move the arm forward a little bit, it allows for additional movement in there. So you do have that there. And then you have these wing flaps there that open up, as you could see on the back. So that is pretty cool there. And then usually, there we go. So here on the thigh, that opens up, which will allow you to kick forward a lot further without damaging the figure. So those are some of the different moving parts that we have in there. And then here, like on the ankle, we get that flap that moves up there. So lots of different moving pieces to allow additional articulation. Before I forget, because I tend to forget this, you also have this pull down leg, which pulls down quite far there. So all those different moving parts all work together to give us the good articulation that these figures have, because it's shockingly, surprisingly good. So let's go ahead and zoom out for the articulation. Each figure is going to have the same articulation, so I might do one with like upper body and the other one lower body. So we'll see how we do it. Okay, so the articulation on these figures. So let's go Mark II with the upper body. The head, you can get Iron Man to look up or straight out, which is great for flight poses. And the such, he can look down that much, so not a huge amount. You get a swivel in there. The neck moves around, so you can get some good pivot going on there. The shoulder, as long as you work the shoulder pad, and those pop, come off, you just got to clip them back on. So you just have to work it out, and then you can get that shoulder to go straight on out, which is great. You can do a full rotation in there. There is somewhat of a butterfly, so if you open up, this chest piece, it allows you to come forward a little bit, come out. You could go up and down, and then back and forth in there. So a lot of good motion there. You have the upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed pinless elbow there, like so. Wrist swivel, and they have a little bit of hinge. If anything, these do lack some hinge, but the repulsor blast hands are actually curved, so you don't have to worry about that. We have a diaphragm cut on this guy. Oops, it popped off a hand. So you could tilt to the left that much there. You can tilt to the right that much there, and then moving the upper body, you can't really go back, but I mean, a guy in a metal suit, he really shouldn't have to move back. And then there's a couple of different moving pieces in the torso, which allows him to crunch forward that far there. And then you got swivel at that diaphragm there. So moving on to the lower body, we'll jump over to the Mark III. Again, kicking forward is good as long as you move that thigh piece forward. You can get him to kick forward that far. The leg goes back a little bit, as you can see there. You have the upper thigh cut in there. You get the drop down leg, which will allow additional movement as well. So you can really get that leg far forward when you do the drop down. So that is really good there. Double jointed pinless knee, so that much bend there at the knee. No calf swivel or anything like that. Foot is on a ball peg, so there's not a lot of movement you can get in the foot. You can pivot around somewhat, and then you can kind of move it up and down only a little bit. You get these flaps here to allow additional movement on the foot, and then you get some toe articulation. It's a little bit lacking on these ones. Some of the other Iron Mans, the toe articulation is a little bit better. It's just, these feet are very blocky and bulky there. So lots of really good articulation. Oh, I forgot to show this, because this is great as well with the legs. So the legs, and don't be afraid, you're not going to break it. You got to apply a little bit of force, and you can actually get those legs out that far apart. So that is some crazy movement on those legs. And then these guys can get into some superhero landing poses, which I've done with other Ironmans, and I'm going to prepare to do one with this guy. So let's see if I can pull it off. Okay, so this is kind of the best that I could do with the superhero landing. The difficult thing is this one, the design of the back just does not allow that head to come back anymore for him to kind of look straight out. But you can position the figure so you could do something like this depending on your angle, and I think that can look really cool. Okay, so another really cool thing about these ThreeZero DLX figures, if you pop out that piece on the back side, you can actually port in the stand that these guys come with, so you can actually get your Iron Man then into different flight poses and things like that. So, you can get him to just stand on that, sure, but if you want to get him into some true flight poses, you're able to do that because, as you can see, it holds the weight really well. So I'm going to kind of pose it out into a flight pose so you guys could see. Okay, so here we go. On the flight stand, you can actually position, as you can see, the Iron Man figure actually into a flight pose, which is pretty darn awesome that you can do that. So you can move, you can kind of turn the base, different which ways to hold the figure in place, which is just pretty cool. So if you want to get into a pose like so, kind of get into flight mode, that is something that you can do, and I think it comes out looking pretty damn awesome, if you ask me. Okay, so that's my review of the ThreeZero DLX Marvel Studios The Infinity Saga Iron Man Mark II and the Iron Man Mark III from the first Iron Man movie. Here are all the DLX Iron Man figures that I have in my collection as it is now. We have the Mark II, the Mark III, the Mark 42, the Mark 46, and the Mark 50. The Mark 4, 5, 6, and 7 are still on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. These other ones are currently in stock, except for the Mark 42. That is something that is long out of stock and difficult and pricey to get. The Mark 43 is also available for pre-order, and the Mark 85 are available for pre-order, and the Mark 44, which is the Hulkbuster, is available for pre-order as well. There is also a limited edition Mark 43 Battle Damage version that I need to get my hands on. That one is currently not available on Big Bad Toy Store, but all these minus the 42 is also available. And then like the Iron Spider figure is also currently in stock at Big Bad Toy Store as well. And the Black Panther figure is, the Iron Patriot figure is, and the War Machine Mark II. I will show the War Machine Mark II and the Iron Patriot. I'll put those together in the same video. I just wanted to show Iron Man proper. So here we have these links in the video description below if you're interested in picking these up. Again, I can't tell you how amazed and I am by this line. ThreeZero absolutely kills it with the details, the paint apps, all the sculpted detail on the figure, so many different moving parts, a bunch of hands with each figure. So really cool stuff. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of these ThreeZero DLX figures? In my opinion, mini Hot Toys, absolutely amazing, worth every penny for what they are, because man, they are awesome. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Help me reach 50,000 by the end of 2024. With your help, I know we can do it. And as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out Big Bad Toy Store for all your action figure needs, including the ThreeZero DLX Marvel Studios The Infinity Saga figures.